Now, I know this might be hard to believe, but the employees who want to work from home and the managers who want people to return to the office both have valid points. Now, hear me out here, folks. What if they're both right? And what if the common answer could bring the best of both worlds to your business? It's possible, and we're going to talk about it. As always, links to the article are going to be in the description. Now, this is from news.com.au. It's from our Australian friend. Failed experiment, young employee slams working from home. We're going to take a look at the video, then we're going to get into the article, and then I'm going to share the strategies that I have my clients use to help bridge that gap between work from home and managers wanting people in place. This video comes from an individual called Shez, so let's take a look at it.
Have to agree on this one. Working from home is a failed corporate social experiment. You can't tell me that you're more productive working from home. Be honest with yourself. Are you really working, or are you more productive folding your laundry? It's a killer for corporate culture. Like, I can't tell you the number of times that I've had productive waterside cooler chats. Absolutely nothing like going up to someone's desk and asking them a question that can be answered in 2 seconds, rather than teamsing them, waiting for them to reply, and then if you don't get it, having to call them for the answer instead. And the worst part is people now think they're entitled to work from home rather than it used to being a privilege and on rare occasions. One thing also that doesn't get talked about enough is that you can't showcase your personality, which is a very important part of moving up the corporate ladder if that's what you aspire to do. Like, the most inspirational, charismatic senior leaders that I know all have very great personalities, and that doesn't come through via a little Teams camera that's just showcasing this part of your face, you know?
To be honest, she had me right up until the end. She's like that little, when you're talking about personality. But anyways, this is a very common concern that managers have. They like to be able to have those conversations with people, and they like the proximity. They have work to do. They may have a question coming from senior management that they need a quick response on. I get that. But for the average employee that's working in the office, one of the largest complaints that employees have is the constant buzz of managers stopping in, bothering them while they're trying to do their work. They're getting asked a million questions. And that into itself is a benefit of working from home. You don't have the constant interruptions from managers. So I get it completely from the employee side. She also brings up a valid point about corporate culture suffering because you're not learning about each other and building that esprit de corps, that teamwork that really shines through on those awesome corporate cultures. So from the manager piece and from the leadership piece, I completely get it. And from the employee, why would I want to drive 45 minutes to the office to do a job I can do at my computer just to be bothered by managers every 7 to 10 minutes with some random question that popped into their head? And I get that. That makes sense from the employee side. There's a little bit more I want to cover in the article, then we're going to come back to what my clients do to help bridge that gap. So let's take a look at it. Naturally, the young worker's opinion immediately sparked online debate. One commenter claimed they were more productive at home with both their work and their household duties. But the worker was admitting doing household duties when working from home instead of just concentrating on work. Another claimed they were more efficient when they work from home and argued it just came down to work ethic and didn't matter where you work from. And this is the point we came back to look at. Someone else said it depends on how you define productive, but added they get less done in the office because of the distractions and chatter. Just what I was talking about there. There's a couple other pieces. Employees, how many times have you just worked on stuff at the house? It's after hours, but you're deciding to just to catch up on some stuff. If your work was only at the office, you wouldn't be able to do that. And that's a key point that I hear from a lot of employees. We've redefined what productive means on both ends of the spectrum. Employees look at what productive means. It's outlined exactly what they're supposed to do for their job description. That is where employees are living at. For managers, they're looking at flow of information and their ability to quickly get answers on questions that they or their bosses may have so that they can continue to do their work. And that's handled through proximity. I got somebody there, I can just go out and ask them a quick question instead of sending an email, having to give them a call, texting for a Zoom call, whatever it is, they can just reach out and touch figuratively. So how do I advise my clients and what methodologies do they use to help make things better within their company? Most of my clients, they operate hybrid. They have managers that are in place. They have quite a few folks that either work on the road or work from home. If you are a manager and you're having to reach out to someone to ask a question because you don't have the information, you need to think about where in your process that information isn't getting passed on. Like, how can you make sure that that information is being shared in a way that is available for you to be able to get without having to talk to an employee? Meetings exist to close communication gaps. That's why meetings exist. My teams utilize stoplight color coding in all of their processes to identify where it's at and if it's being worked on or not. They know how long it should take once the workload enters the queue, how long it should take to be processed. So if it gets on a Monday, it should be out by Wednesday afternoon, whatever that number looks like. When it enters into the queue, it's green. That means there's no issue with it. Once they start working on it, it turns yellow. That means it's in progress. Now, if they get it done in the allotted time, right? Let's say get in Monday and it by Wednesday afternoon, it should be out. It's turned to green and passed on to the next person. If at the end of the day, if they have not been able to finish that work in the allotted time, it automatically turns red. So now anyone can look at the system and see that this particular report is being held up here. And they put notes in there saying, I had to do some additional research and that's why it's behind. And what that has done, it has stopped managers from poking their heads in and interrupting the employees, because the average employee loses 5 to 10 minutes on every one of those 2-second drop-in conversations, which ultimately slows the reports moving through the process. And again, that's just what we use. The underlying axiom that this article is highlighting is that meetings exist to close communication gaps. I would recommend Shez use this information to look at her processes and say, hey, how can we develop our system in a way that naturally highlights status and provides the information I'm going to need in order to do my job? And when you do that, folks working from home isn't as big a problem as you think it is, because you're using the feedback from your lack of knowledge about the process to make the process better, which should allow you to have people work at home more frequently without the issues that you're dealing with. So with that, if you'd like to learn more about how I help businesses grow faster than I ever thought possible and solve problems like we just talked about, be sure to check out summitbusinessguys.com. Hopefully I earned your subscription today. Take care, and I will see you next time.